Victoria Petrov was purchasing a $50,000 Hermès bag at the Plaza Shopping Center in Manhattan when security guard Mark Henderson was tracking her as a shoplifting suspect. The credit limit on Victoria's card contained enough money to buy the entire mall. The Plaza Shopping Center, located on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan's Upper East Side, was one of the world's most prestigious shopping centers. 47 luxury boutiques, from Hermès to Cartier, Tiffany to Bulgari, housed the New York flagship stores of elite brands. Average customer spending, $15,000. Annual revenue, $890 million. Victoria Petrov, 41 years old, an elegant woman who had immigrated to the U.S. from Ukraine 14 years ago, now owned New York's largest commercial real estate empire. Petrov Properties owned 127 buildings in Manhattan, 89 complexes in Brooklyn, 156 residential properties in Queens. Total portfolio value, $23 billion. This morning, Victoria had come to the plaza for casual shopping. She wore a simple black dress, Louboutin flats, and carried a vintage Chanel bag. A modest appearance, but each piece worth thousands of dollars. Mark Henderson, 34 years old, 9 years in mall security, 3 years as head of security. Former NYPD officer, laid off due to budget cuts, now working in private security. Annual salary $78,000, but still carrying the authority complex from his old police days. Mark's problem, racial profiling and unconscious bias, especially regarding unusual customers shopping at expensive stores. As Victoria entered the Hermès boutique, Mark observed her from the security office monitors. 47 camera system, artificial intelligence-powered behavior analysis, facial recognition technology, state-of-the-art security infrastructure. "Rodriguez," Mark called his subordinate via radio. "Woman in black dress, Hermès store. Keep an eye on her. Officer Rodriguez, young Latino, 2 years on the job." "Any specific reason, sir?" "Foreign accent, alone, expensive taste." Mark listed his suspicious indicators. "Classic shoplifter profile." Rodriguez felt uncomfortable, but orders were orders. Victoria was having a conversation with sales associate Jennifer at Hermès. Perfect English, but with a slight Ukrainian accent. "I'm interested in the Birkin collection," Victoria said politely. Jennifer, a trained professional, immediately sized up the potential customer. Victoria's outfit, expensive but not flashy, confident but not arrogant, knowledgeable about luxury goods. "Of course, ma'am. We have several beautiful pieces. Are you looking for a specific color or size?" "Something classic, black or brown, medium size." Jennifer led Victoria to the exclusive display case, Birkin bags ranging from $25,000 to $150,000. Mark watched through cameras, his suspicion growing. "She's looking at the most expensive items first," he radioed to Rodriguez. Textbook behavior. Victoria spent 30 minutes at Hermès, eventually selecting an $85,000 crocodile leather Birkin bag. Jennifer processed the transaction smoothly. Black American Express Centurion card, approved instantly. "Thank you, Ms. Petrov," Jennifer said, handing over the elegant shopping bag. "Please enjoy your beautiful purchase." Mark watched this transaction with growing confusion. Real purchase, high-end customer, legitimate payment, but his racial profiling instincts remained triggered. "She actually bought it," Rodriguez observed. "Stolen credit card, probably," Mark rationalized, "or money laundering. Keep following." Victoria continued to Tiffany & Company, where she browsed diamond jewelry. Sales associate Michael Williams, 15 years in luxury retail, immediately recognized a quality customer. "Good afternoon, ma'am. How may I assist you today?" "I'm looking for anniversary gifts. Perhaps earrings or a necklace." Michael showed her a selection of diamond pieces ranging from $15,000 to $400,000. Victoria studied them carefully, asking informed questions about cut, clarity, and carat weight. Mark's radio crackled with increasing paranoia. "She's casing multiple expensive stores. This is organized retail theft, I guarantee it." Security team leader Sarah Kim responded, "Mark, she's making legitimate purchases." "Maybe she's just a wealthy customer?" "Wealthy customers don't shop alone," Mark insisted. "They have assistants, drivers, entourages. This woman is suspicious. Victoria selected $47,000 diamond earrings at Tiffany's. Again, seamless payment with the Centurion card. Michael wrapped them beautifully, providing authentication certificates and insurance documentation. By now, Mark had positioned Rodriguez, Kim, and 2 other security officers strategically around Victoria's movement path. 5-person surveillance team for 1 customer. "Ma'am," Rodriguez approached Victoria as she left Tiffany's. "Excuse me, could I see your receipts?" Victoria paused, surprised. "My receipts?" "Routine security check," Rodriguez lied. "We need to verify recent purchases." Victoria handed over both shopping bags with receipts, everything legitimate, properly documented. Rodriguez examined the receipts, finding nothing suspicious. He radioed Mark. "All purchases verified legitimate, sir." "Keep watching," Mark commanded. "Professional thieves always make small legitimate purchases to establish credibility before the big theft." Victoria's next stop, Cartier. She browsed watches, eventually selecting a $67,000 Santos Collection timepiece. Again, smooth transaction, black Amex, no problems. Mark's frustration was mounting. 3 major purchases, all legitimate, total spending over $200,000. Either this woman was incredibly wealthy or running the most sophisticated retail fraud he'd ever encountered. As Victoria exited Bulgari, Mark directly approached her. "Ma'am, I'm Mark Henderson, head of security. I need to ask you a few questions." Victoria paused, shopping bags in both hands. "Questions about what?" "Your shopping patterns today have triggered our security protocols," Mark announced loudly enough for nearby customers to hear. "We need to verify the source of your funds." Shoppers around them stopped and stared. Bulgari customers, Cartier browsers, Hermès loyalists, all witnessing this public confrontation. "Source of my funds?" Victoria repeated calmly. "Yes, ma'am." "You've made several high-value purchases using credit cards that may require additional verification." Victoria's Ukrainian accent became more noticeable under stress. "These are my personal credit cards. I provided identification for each purchase." "Identification can be forged," Mark continued, his voice carrying. "We see sophisticated fraud operations regularly." By now, a small crowd had gathered. Some customers were sympathetic to Victoria's obvious embarrassment. Others assumed Mark must have legitimate concerns. Jennifer from Hermès approached, concerned for her customer. "Is there a problem?" Ms. Petrov was lovely to work with. "That's what we're determining," Mark replied authoritatively. Victoria's public humiliation continued as Mark insisted on additional verification procedures. He asked for employment documentation, proof of income, bank verification letters, requirements that existed nowhere in mall policy. "Sir," Victoria said quietly, "I've made legitimate purchases with my own credit cards." "What specific policy requires this harassment?" "Harassment?" Mark's voice rose. "Ma'am, we're protecting this establishment from retail fraud. Your behavior today fits patterns we're trained to identify." "What patterns?" Victoria asked. "Foreign national, purchasing expensive items alone, no shopping history with our stores," Mark listed publicly. The crowd grew uncomfortable. Several shoppers recognized this as racial profiling disguised as security protocol. Dr. Rebecca Chen, a psychiatrist shopping at Cartier, intervened. "Officer, this seems like discrimination based on accent and appearance." "Ma'am, please don't interfere with security procedures," Mark warned Dr. Chen. But the damage was done. Multiple customers now viewed this as systematic bias rather than legitimate security concern. Victoria remained calm throughout, but her hands trembled slightly from anger and embarrassment. "Officer Henderson," Victoria said clearly, "may I make a phone call?" "No phone calls until we complete our investigation," Mark commanded. Victoria ignored Mark's order and dialed her attorney. "James, this is Victoria Petrov. I'm at the Plaza Shopping Center." "Yes, our property. We have a security issue that requires immediate attention." Mark's confident expression faltered. "Our property?" "The head of security is detaining me for suspicious shopping behavior," Victoria continued on speakerphone. "Please contact building management immediately." James Morrison, Victoria's attorney and the Plaza's legal counsel, responded loudly enough for everyone to hear. Victoria, you own that building. I'll call the management company right now. Mark stared at Victoria's phone as if it might explode. Also, James, Victoria added, please prepare documentation regarding discrimination lawsuits against retail establishments. This incident is being witnessed by approximately 30 people. The crowd around them had grown significantly. Shoppers pulled out phones, some recording, others calling friends about the unfolding drama. Ma'am, Mark stammered, if you own this building, why didn't you identify yourself earlier? Why should I have to prove ownership to shop in my own property? Victoria replied. Do you ask every customer for property deeds? Within 5 minutes, Thomas Wright, the plaza's general manager, arrived running through the corridor. His face was pale with panic as he approached Victoria. Ms. Petrov, Thomas said breathlessly, I'm so profoundly sorry. We had no idea you were shopping here today. Thomas, Victoria replied calmly, this is exactly the point. Your security staff assumed I was a criminal based on my accent and appearance. Mark Henderson stood frozen, realizing his career was collapsing in real time. Mr. Henderson, Thomas addressed him sharply, Ms. Petrov owns this building. She owns the entire Plaza Shopping Center complex. You just harassed your ultimate boss. The crowd around them gasped. Shoppers who had witnessed the discrimination now understood the complete power reversal. Sir, Mark desperately tried to explain, she fit the profile for organized retail theft. I was following standard security protocols. What protocols authorize racial profiling? Victoria asked directly. Mark couldn't answer because no such protocols existed. Thomas pulled out his phone and called the mall's corporate security director. We need immediate policy review and personnel action at the plaza. The property owner was just discriminated against by our security staff. Victoria's phone rang again. This time the caller ID showed NYC Mayor's office. She answered on speaker. Hello, Mayor Adams. Victoria, I heard about the incident at your shopping center. Are you all right? The crowd around them went silent. The mayor of New York calling personally. I'm fine, Eric, but this highlights systematic discrimination in retail security practices. I want to discuss this at next week's business leaders meeting. Retail profiling needs to end in New York. After hanging up, Victoria looked at Mark Henderson, whose face had gone completely white. Mr. Henderson, Victoria said quietly, you've just learned why assumptions about people based on accents, appearance, or shopping patterns are dangerous. Thomas Wright immediately stepped in. Mr. Henderson, you're suspended pending full investigation. This incident violates every policy we have regarding customer treatment. Furthermore, Thomas continued, addressing the crowd, the Plaza Shopping Center will implement immediate sensitivity training for all security personnel. Discrimination based on accent, nationality, or appearance will result in immediate termination. Mark Henderson was escorted from the building by the same security officers who had been following Victoria an hour earlier. 6 months later, the Plaza Shopping Center became a model for inclusive retail security practices. Victoria had used this incident to create systematic change across her entire property portfolio. The Petrov Protocol was implemented in all 127 buildings she owned. Mandatory bias training for all security personnel, anonymous reporting system for discrimination incidents, regular customer experience audits conducted by third-party firms, zero-tolerance policy for racial or ethnic profiling. Mark Henderson never worked in security again. His discriminatory behavior was documented and shared across the industry, making him unemployable in retail or corporate security roles. Rodriguez, Kim, and other security officers who participated in Victoria's harassment were required to complete 40 hours of diversity training. Those who showed genuine remorse and learned from the experience kept their jobs. Those who didn't were terminated. Thomas Wright used this incident to become a national advocate for retail inclusivity. Under his leadership, the Plaza Shopping Center's customer satisfaction scores increased 34%. And diversity in both shoppers and staff improved significantly. Dr. Rebecca Chen, who had defended Victoria during the incident, was invited to consult on the new training programs. Her expertise in psychology helped create more effective bias recognition protocols. Most importantly, Victoria established the Immigrant Entrepreneur Retail Access Foundation, providing legal support and advocacy for immigrant business owners and customers who face discrimination in retail settings. The foundation handled 247 cases in its first year, with a 91% success rate in achieving policy changes or compensation for discriminated customers. Jennifer from Hermès, Michael from Tiffany's, and other sales associates who had treated Victoria with respect received commendations and raises. They became examples of how customer service should work regardless of assumptions about background or purchasing power. Victoria continued shopping at the plaza regularly, but now she was recognized not just as the owner, but as the customer who transformed how retail security operates across New York City. Sometimes the most powerful response to discrimination is simply revealing who you really are. But the most lasting response is using that power to ensure others never face the same humiliation. The Plaza Shopping Center's new motto, displayed prominently at every entrance, reads, "Every customer deserves dignity, no exceptions." And security cameras that once tracked suspicious customers now monitor security staff to ensure they treat everyone with equal respect. Victoria Petrov proved that true wealth isn't just about what you can buy. It's about what positive change you can create when discrimination tries to diminish your dignity.